Welcome back to CryptosRUs. I'm George. We're all George. So tonight we got some shocking news to talk about. It was reported earlier today that SBF, Sam Bankman-Fried, of course, from FTX, is released on bail and $250 million. Well, at least some of it. Right, but it is an astronomical amount. Where did SBF come up with the money? And why was he released on bail at all? So let's talk about these things and let's talk about some other stuff today. So let's get started. Welcome, guys. Man, this is a shocker. Right, I think most people expected that today, at his bail hearing, he would be denied bail, but it didn't happen that way. And I'll speculate why it didn't happen. But before that, here are the details. Okay, the bail was set at $250 million. This is the top or among the top ever. In terms of a bail amount, okay? But here's the thing. You don't actually put up $250 million right away. I believe you put up about 10% of it, which is still significant. $25 million, right? Still a whole lot. To put things into perspective, Bernie Madoff, his bail amount was only $10 million, okay? $10 million versus $250 million, okay? That is a wide gap. A wide gap. So he was set free today, but some stipulations. First of all, he has to stay at his parents' house. Second of all, he has to wear a GPS monitor so that they know where he is and he can't be trying to escape or flee the country, right? So some stipulations, but he has free access to the internet. He has free access to basically do what he wants. He may be on Twitter soon. That would be the dumbest thing he does, to sign back on Twitter and start tweeting and doing interviews, right? But yeah, so that's the latest. But, you know, how did he get this $25 million out of $250 million, right? Supposedly, he only had $100,000 left. Right? So where did he get that money? Well, supposedly, here's the thing. From his parents, not a shocker, but also from two anonymous donors. Okay? There's actually two people. It says right here. The bond was secured by equity in his family home and a signature of his parents and two other individuals with considerable assets. Who are those two other individuals? Okay, I'm going to speculate on who one of them may be in a little bit. But even so, his parents are that wealthy to have $25 million, right? So people are starting to look at this. You know, supposedly his father is worth about $5 million. His mother's worth about $4 million, right? So you do the math. That's 4 plus 9. That's $9 million. Plus the $100K. That's still $9 million. That doesn't quite add up to $25 million, right? So where did the other money come from? It has to be from the two anonymous people, right? They must have put up an enormous amount to get him out. And even here's the thing, you know that his mom and dad are Stanford professors. On average, Stanford professors only make about $100,000 a year, right? So even to be worth $5 million and $4 million, right, adding up to $9 million doesn't quite make a lot of sense. And someone, I don't know if this is true or not, but someone posted this, that this is the parents' home. Tweeted this: I'd rather invest in an entrepreneur who has failed before than one who assumes success from day one. Who does that sound like? Who does that sound like he's defending, right? And who has the resources to be contributing towards bail money, right? Was it Kevin O'Leary? Was he one of the two anonymous people that actually helped bail SBF out, right? At this point, you can't rule it out. He's been the biggest supporter of SBF. He certainly had the resources, right? Is he dumb enough to do so? He's already crucified by everyone. I don't think anyone is defending Kevin O'Leary at this point, right? So I don't know. I certainly hope not. I certainly hope he's not one of the people. But, you know, even Bill Ackman was also crucified a little bit because after one of the SBF's interviews, he came out and said, you know, I honestly think he's telling the truth. Now he's saying, you know, I changed my mind, right? The fact that there's a $250 million bail in itself is criminal, right? So even Bill Ackman's like, yeah, I can't be defending this guy no longer, right? So again, man, this whole situation, so messed up at this point. And here's the other thing. Why was he given bail altogether, right? Why didn't the judge just say, hey, you get no bail, you go spend some time in jail while we get this sorted out? Well, here's the connection. Supposedly, the judge that decided on this bail is married to the law partner of a firm that arranged the FTX BlockFi deal. So it gets interesting. So there's definitely a connection there. So could it be that this judge gave leniency on SBF because of this tie before with FTX and BlockFi? You would figure probably not, hopefully not, but it does seem like there's a connection there, right? And there's also a connection with Gary Gensler, too. Gary Gensler right now is attacking Caroline and Gary Wang and supposedly coming after SBF. But we know Gary has a deep connection with SBF himself, with Caroline's parents, right? And supposedly Gary Gensler also knew about, because Gary Gensler and the SEC settled with BlockFi for $100 million. Supposedly he knew about the fact that some of the funds from BlockFi was given by SBF and FTX, right? So technically, some of the funds paid to the SEC with the fines is actually part of customer assets. So there's that too. There's a whole article about it. I didn't have it up in time, but I mean, there's just so many connections left and right, all over the place, right? So yeah, so that's the latest. The next hearing, I think, is in January. I think in here it said, yeah. The next hearing will be in New York City on January 3rd. Well, he'll enter his plea and be arraigned. So, luckily for SBF, he, since he's out on bail after posting $25 million of a $250 million bail, he gets to spend some quality time with his parents until the 3rd. So he gets to rest a little bit for about 2 weeks before he has to show up in court again. All right, so that's the latest. All right, what else is going on today? Well, some not so good stuff. I mean, I don't know if you consider this good or bad. I would say most consider this bad. The Senate passes a $1.7 trillion government funding bill. So now this is going up to the House. Will the House approve this? $1.7 trillion. That's a lot of money, right? All this talk about inflation and debt, the U.S. deficit skyrocketing, right? What about inflation? What about printing? All that stuff. Despite all this, we're still looking to pass multi-trillion dollar bills. $772 billion for non-defense discretionary program. I don't know what that means. And $858 billion in defense funding. Defense funding is always very, very high. And it also allocates $45 billion for Ukraine. This comes a day after Zelensky delivered an emotional appeal to lawmakers to continue to fund his country. So that's a lot of money. I don't know if the House will go past this, but maybe Maybe. So get ready for more deficits, more printing, and prolonged inflation. That's what it sounds like to me. What else is going on today? Tesla this morning was not so good, but ended up worse, minus 8.88%. So again, another new 52-week low. Elon did a Twitter Spaces and said that he promises not to sell any more stock for at least 2 more years. Can we believe that? I don't know. Right? He said his reason was selling not for margin calls. That like he needed some dry powder just in case things get bad. And he says 2023 is going to get real bad in his opinion. Right? He kind of flip-flops on that because before he's like, yeah, it seems like things are improving. Now he's saying it's going to get bad. So is it really going to get bad, or is it just bad for Tesla? And did he really sell the stock for dry powder, or did he sell it because he was margin called on the loans that he took out to buy Twitter? We don't know. But Tesla is definitely getting decimated right now and is down about 70% year to date, right? So not so good. And then as for Bitcoin, you guys know, I tell you guys, stay strong with Bitcoin. But according to RSI has never been this low for Bitcoin ever in its history. Even going all the way back to the beginning, 2010, 2011, right? And all the cycles and all the downtrends that we have had has never been this low, this oversold, right? So I look forward to the recovery, but it seems like Plan B is back at posting his Bybit link once again. And then lastly, I think that's it. Yeah, that's pretty much it. You know what? Bitcoin came up slightly from this morning, just slightly, right? Still waiting for it to make a move. I don't know if we're going to see anything before Christmas, to be honest, tomorrow. And then we got a couple more days, right, before Christmas. Can we see some kind of rally? I hope so. And overall market cap today for crypto didn't really move, didn't budge much at all. All right, let's do some Q&A. Shout out to I Make It Rain on Twitch. Got a lot of guys talking on Rumble right now. People are wondering if SBF is going to somehow try to run. I don't know. I don't know how hard it is to disable one of those ankle bracelet, those GPM monitors. Is it easy as just cutting it off and that's it, and you could make a run for it? A lot of people think that Kevin O'Leary is one of the two, right? So who are these two anonymous individuals? And they're not named. Somehow they're kept quiet, right? Two individuals with considerable assets. It would be funny if one of them is Gary Gensler himself. I don't think that. If it's discovered that one of them is Gary Gensler, man, he would be fired on the spot. But, you know, one has to wonder if Kevin O'Leary is one of the individuals, since he's been defending SBF through all of this. Kelvin read my mind. One from O'Leary and one from Gensler. What's 1.7 trillion between friends? I guess that's one way to look at it. George, could the government track where the money came from? I'm sure they can. To post bail, I'm told that it has to be money that's like trackable, right? Sitting in a bank account. It has to be legit. You can't all of a sudden get like a wire transfer from someone that has no record, I guess. You can't get all of a sudden, he can't like be selling all his like Bitcoin on some mysterious wallet, right? That's what I've been told. Like, it has to be verified. So his parents and these two individuals, they are just considerably wealthy. This is the dark, twisted rabbit hole you brought me down, George. I mean, there is definitely, there's a lot going on here. There's a lot going on, and internet detectives are trying to place it together. I'm trying to present it to you guys, but there's just so much behind the scenes. Who's really all involved with this? You know, where's the money coming from? What's the end game, right? Those donations SBF made, right? Do they have something to do with it? The fact that now the judge is married to the person that's a partner at a law firm that has ties with FTX, right? That in itself seems like she should be excused. She should not even be a judge on this case. And then Gary Gensler is also connected. Everyone is so connected with this, right? It's just such an unusual case. And for someone this high profile should just be denied bail. There should be no bail at all. But the fact remains he did get bail. I mean, it's a considerable amount. Yes, you pay 10% of the $250 million. But $250 million, I mean, that's crazy, right? But even $25 million. Supposedly for a guy that has only $100,000 left, right? A significant amount. Could it be easily a property bond from numerous properties he recently purchased? I mean, that could be the case. I don't know if the properties he bought for himself, his executives, and his parents in the Bahamas, whether they're seized or whether or not he used those or his parents used those as bail. I don't know. Alex. That's funny. Bail avoids Epstein. Hey, Steve. Welcome. I don't think I've seen you in here before, but hopefully we can get together sometime and reminisce about the good old days. Mr. D. Hey, welcome. Everyone, Old Saucy says everyone is taking end-of-year losses for taxes. I think that's true. Tax harvesting, right? Give a shout-out to Cointracker. There's a lot of people that's looking to take advantage of the horrible situation of 2022, and that is, massive losses, capital losses, right? You got one more week to take advantage of wash trading and tax loss harvesting. Wash trading is still legal for crypto, so you can sell off and buy back right away. So then you can, you could deduct your capital losses against your capital gains. So tax loss harvesting is a real thing right now, right? And if you need a software to help you with that, well, take a look at Cointracker. Bid Moon, I appreciate it. The good thing is, the market, U.S. market today was not doing good today. Tesla got hammered, right? And a lot of the markets have not been good for the last few weeks. But the good thing is Bitcoin seems to have ignored all of it and have just stayed sideways. Hasn't jumped up, but hasn't moved down either, just sideways. So that's very encouraging, right? The decoupling away from S&P, NASDAQ, everything else. So SBF on a yacht soon, mark my words. Hopefully not. Hopefully this is not all one big ploy for him to escape and sail off into the sunset. Tesla for 2023. Well, I don't know. Tesla, I don't know what to say about Tesla. I got a lot of friends. My wife, they trade Tesla, they hold Tesla. They're like pulling their hair out. They can't believe what's going on because Tesla has never gone through something like this before. And it just keeps getting worse every day. Minus 9% is no chump change. Tesla itself is only worth $400 billion now, less than $400 billion. The way they're going right now, they could be at 100 soon, right? But if you're looking at charts, they are very, very oversold. I would argue, if you look at their charts, they have never been this oversold ever. The last time was 2019, and back then, they were only like $11. So, yeah, people are just getting fearful about Tesla. Really, really fearful about weaker sales, about what's happening in China, of course, about Elon, his distraction with Twitter. There's just a lot of stuff going on. Even the sales, not quite as good as before. I covered them this morning. Yeah, of course, that's what I do because I believe it, whether or not I'm right or wrong. But I still have hope. I still cling on hope, and I know Bitcoin will turn around. It's just a matter of time, but no one knows when that is. No one knows when things bottom out and turn around. You look at the signs, you put it together, and you make educated guesses, right? 2022, definitely a horrible year, but I think we anticipated as much. 2023, I think the first half of 2023 will still be more or less sideways movement, still probably fearful. We could have a small recovery, but I think the second half of 2023 is where we start seeing moves. And then moving into 2024, obviously, we're going to see bigger moves as we get closer to the halving event. But I don't think we're going to see anything significant until the second half of 2023. Sneeze ads. Was I born rich? No, certainly not. I don't think anyone really is born rich. I take that back. No, there's a lot of people that are born rich, but I was not one of them. My mom immigrated into the United States when I was young. Single mom, had to work her way up. Didn't really have a whole lot. Even then, never wealthy until a few years ago, when things really started getting good. I've only ever bought since 2020, never sold. Would I be in trouble? If you've been holding from 2020, then probably not, right? Because 2020, at least March of 2020, Bitcoin was at 3,000, or 3,800, right? March of 2020. So if you've been buying since then, I think you're okay. But the thing is, don't try to guess. DCA long term, that's the way to do it. Hourglass, I don't know what you're asking. Is it in? Yeah, I don't know what you're asking. Are you asking if companies have traders that trade their own stocks? No, because it will be seen as market manipulation. I don't think you can have that happen. You could buy your own stocks, but you can't be trading it. I don't think. I don't know. That just seems like a conflict of interest if you do. I mean, Alameda was doing that with FTT, and it's being deemed as market manipulation. So, Jer, appreciate that. IDCA FUD. That's good. That's good. That's how you use it. Use it for your advantage. No, I don't work for the CIA. I don't work for the CIA. Benjamin, would you say Gala is still a good long-term buy? I heard you mention it. I still think so. I'm not giving them Gala. I know they are very, very, very oversold, but I do think they still have a really good chance to recover. They're still executing. They're still coming out of games, still making partnerships. So as long as that happens, they'll be fine. Led by a good team. So I think they're definitely worth holding and DCA into. Thoughts on what's been going on with Elon and his action with Twitter affecting Tesla? Chef, man, you seem to come in late. I've been talking about Tesla a lot. This morning, I talked about it just a few minutes ago. Right, there's a lot going on with Tesla. It's being sold off every single day. Elon himself caught some of it because he had to sell stock. But a lot of it is due to fears of sales, declining sales, recession. I mean, Teslas are just expensive cars, right? So there's a lot of it going on. And of course, the distraction of Twitter. Only someone who says they don't work for a CIA works for a CIA. I wonder if CIA is as nasty as people paint the agency to be. You know, I watched Homeland a little bit before, so I think I kind of know what the CIA is about. But again, that's a TV show. I don't know what the CIA really does. Maybe one of you guys could chime in. Will the first GeorgeCon be in Vegas 2024? I would like to have it in Vegas. There's a glamour, prestige to having it in Vegas. A city known to have wild parties and fun. So I still like to have it there, but it doesn't have to be there. It could be somewhere else because Vegas is quite expensive, and those hotels are very cocky. They charge an arm and a leg to have anything within them. So I have to plan it out when the timing is right. Dan, I appreciate that. Not many people will get that reference because 24 was so long ago. I don't remember the last one. They brought someone else, and now even then that was 10 years ago. That was a long, long, long time ago. And Jack Bauer, Kiefer Sutherland, he did a couple other shows where he played a president. That was actually a pretty good one. I forgot what that show is called. And he played some other one, too, where he had some kind of, touch or something like that. His son had some special powers. He did a couple other shows. Yeah, Designated Survivor. That was actually a pretty good show. I didn't watch it when it aired. I watched it, later on. I forgot on what streaming service, but that was actually a pretty good show. It's interesting premise. And then it turned too much like a normal show. The first season was great. Second season, okay. Third season just kind of got iffy. Is Bill Gates still shorting Tesla? Hey, maybe. Bill Gates is no fan of Elon for whatever reason. He just doesn't like Elon. I don't know why. Would you consider holding any public office for whatever district you reside? I don't think so. I don't want that. You know, I've watched a few of the town hall meetings for like my local school, and you know, I don't want to sit there. I don't want to deal with that, you know. I don't want to hold any public office. Making a good living shorting Tesla recently? Well, congratulations, because they've been going down, 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 down recently. They spot people. All right, guys. I think that's it for tonight. You know, obviously the big news is this. SBF gets released on a $250 million bail, which 10% of it was paid. Still, significant amount. Who paid for it? His parents, which definitely does not have the entire amount, and 2 anonymous donors with considerable assets. Okay, who are they? Is one of them Mr. O'Leary? Even so, who's the other? Who's the other SBF supporter, right? We don't know. We don't know. But, you know, as more things develop, I will definitely let you guys know. All right? So tomorrow's Friday. Let's have a good old chat in the morning, 8:30 a.m. Central Standard Time. Make sure you tune in. Last 2 questions. Will Binance announce the liabilities? Yes. And you still like Chainlink? I do like Chainlink. Their largest node link pool scammed its holders, ran by 2 employees, and only allowed surgery allowed. Okay, I don't know about that. And that doesn't change what the project is about. So, yes, I still do like Chainlink. All right. Have a good night, guys. I'll see you guys in the morning. Take care. Bye-bye.